we do experiments on your embryos.
No, we are not running really funky, crazy experiments on your embryos. Most of the time, if a clinic is not actively running a research study, those embryos are used for QC purposes, or they're used to train future embryologists. I saw that our patients really had a lot of questions for us about the process and what was happening in the lab. And I really wanted a way to give them that information. And I figured if our patients don't know it, then there are patients all over the place who don't know. I would say embryo grading is my top question. There's a lot of confusion about grading embryos or what the grades mean or how are we getting the grades. I think it's a good idea to ask your physician how they grade embryos and if they grade them. To grow an embryo in culture, to biopsy it, to freeze it, to then thaw it and transfer it, we want to make sure it can survive all of that. So if we have a poor quality embryo, we may not think that it's going to survive all of those things. So we may grade it lower or we may not freeze it at all. So that's something to keep in mind when you're seeing your embryo grades. It's really a great way for an embryologist to know that this embryo has a better chance of surviving all the things we're putting it through until it gets back home to where it's supposed to be. Consider the whole picture. When you go in for that first initial visit, they are going to want you to get a semen analysis. That is probably one of the best tests to get when you're struggling with infertility. It's relatively cheap. A lot of insurance does cover it. Even out of pocket, it's pretty cheap compared to other diagnostic tests. You get results really fast. They're not reliant on a cycle or anything like that. And they're a big part of the process. I'm always such a big advocate for knowing your own reproductive health. So if you're not having fertility issues and are just curious about your own fertility potential or your own reproductive health, go ask, go see a doctor, get some diagnostic work done.